Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Football Shock's Football Agenda, episode 7. We're going to be talking about game week 11, upcoming games between Arsenal and Spurs, Man United, West Ham, Leeds against Chelsea. First of all, we'll introduce ourselves. I'm John. I'm a big Luton Town fan.
I'm Colt K. I'm a big Leeds fan.
I'm James. I'm a big Manchester United fan.
I'm Bradley. Huge Arsenal fan, but not sure I want to be right now, to be honest.
Arsenal are falling apart again.
And I'm Shay, a very big, unfortunately, I support the red half of North London, Arsenal, fortunately.
The pain in these boys' voices, yeah.
They're broken. They are broken.
Let's get right into it then with last week's Arsenal game, Arsenal against Wolves. I haven't actually watched the game, so I'm just looking at the scores now. It was a 2-1 win to Wolves. Let's go to Bradley straight away and ask him to dive a bit deeper into that.
Yes, Bradley, tell everyone
Where do I
how
start?
I was right.
It was just an absolutely poor performance by Arsenal yet again. You know, I'm starting to sound like a broken record every single week, you know, when I talk about the same sorts of players who've been inconsistent for years. I look at Xhaka's performance in the midfield. I mean, every single time he got the ball, he had an option to sort of push the ball forward. He went backwards, he went sideways. For the second goal, he just got absolutely roasted by Adama Traore in midfield. That just can't happen. I mean, where was Danny Ceballos as well? And then Bellerin, you know, just back off FC. That's what Bellerin does. I mean, he just never wants to put a foot in, make a challenge. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, if there's a goal, he's usually, you know, one of the main culprits, him and Xhaka. So as a performance that, you know, you just come to expect from Arsenal, because these same group of players, you know, they've let managers down time and time again. They're currently letting Arteta down right now. And what I don't want is players like Gabriel, Tierney and Partey to be tainted by this current squad, because that's what's going to happen if these players don't get shipped out, you know, by January, by the summer. So yeah, just it's poor by Mikel Arteta as well. He made some silly decisions in that game. I mean, how he didn't take David Luiz off after that horrific challenge. You know, thoughts go out to Jimenez, by the way. But, you know, again, it's something that I should expect, because he is a manager that's learning on the job. I back him right now because I don't currently think he's got, you know, a great set of players, but he needs to lift the squad. And the North London derby's coming up at the weekend. And I think I said it on the spin-off show, but if you can't get him up for that North London derby, then, boy, there's a real problem at hand. So, yeah, poor performance, but more of the same from Arsenal.
It's good to bring up the injury as well, because obviously that's probably, from a neutral's point of view, the only interesting thing that happened in the game. I see Kieran's trying to stop himself from grinning, so I'm going to pass it over to you.
To be honest, like, there's a running joke where I say I missed it, Colt, and I predict these things, but it's not difficult.
No, that's a joke from you and you alone.
Well, the thing is, it's not difficult to predict these things, because I'm just seeing the same mistakes from Arsenal over and over again. And I could sit here, I genuinely don't know where to start. The players aren't good enough. They've got an orange peeler in charge. The board is a joke. Arteta, for me, it isn't good enough. I think with the players he's got, yes, I don't think the players are great, but he should be doing better than he's doing. I think that FA Cup win papered over a lot of cracks, and Arsenal fans, I think, allowed themselves to get slightly carried away with that, because I could see already the problems they were going to be having. The players, for me, aren't nowhere near good enough for where they want to go. Like I said, I think there's 2 or 3 in that squad who I think personally are good enough. But for me, the board is a major problem at Arsenal, because even if they brought in an Allegri, which in my opinion they should have done when Wenger went, they needed an experienced manager who's won league titles. Even if they brought him in, he's still going to have the same problems. I think he'd do better than Arteta, but in terms of challenging for league titles and getting back into the Champions League, he's still going to find it tough, because there's just no investment around the club. And that's why, I mean, it just infuriates me as a football fan to see it, because my problem with Arsenal is the amount they charge for season tickets and this, that and the other. So to charge that amount of money from fans, and they're just not invest it back into the club, it's ridiculous. It's a joke. And until Kroenke fucks off back to America, I will be sending cackling voice notes to Bradley and Shay, because nothing's going to change. Do you think if they got in an owner who was serious and then a manager who was serious, I'd be sat here chuckling? I'd be silent, so I'd be worried. But they ain't getting it. They're going to finish. I think they'll recover a bit. They'll finish 9th again this season. Sunday was poor. I don't know what I can say about their game. They were shit. There's no threat going forward. I said they needed a creative midfielder in the summer. Didn't get it. And you're seeing what's happening now. And I think Bradley's right. They're done as a top club unless this board goes.
I wonder what Shay thinks. He's come to us today from Thameslink Wi-Fi. Shay, you got any thoughts on the game?
Typical, really. Nothing really that I haven't echoed for many years. I've been echoing this now for the last... When did I notice the decline? Probably the last 10, 11 years. Nothing's changed. The same deadweight players are letting the team down. These players are liabilities. They're not good enough. Granit Xhaka, Hector Bellerin, and a few others. Unfortunately, I'm not confident.
Oh, we're losing him there.
I was going to say, I think Thameslink have...
Sounds like a Dalek, bro.
I was going to say, I think Thameslink have invested in their Wi-Fi more than Arsenal have, but it doesn't look like they have.
Shay, we'll come back to you. I see you've muted yourself.
Kieran, I genuinely believe you think about Arsenal more than your own team.
Well, no, I just think it's a great comedy show. I'm a big comedy fan.
Wait, hold on. Can you still hear Shay talking?
Yeah, I can still hear. He's probably gone into a tunnel.
All right,
Shay,
Shay, we'll come back to you, mate. But in the meantime, let's go to a neutral. James,
We may have to sack Shay off in this one.
Yeah, sorry, Shay. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, there he is.
Because even with this squad, he shouldn't be 40. We own you. We own you.
I love how
I know exactly who he's talking to.
Like, you know what I mean? This guy.
Oh, Shay, you cut out there. You might want to start
Say the whole thing again.
Yeah, so basically, team isn't good enough, and the manager, unfortunately, has made some huge errors. I fear if things don't get better before Boxing Day, I fear a lot of fans may start to doubt him, and I don't want that because I want him to succeed. But unfortunately, there's too much liabilities, and unfortunately, we are now a mid-table club, unfortunately, until something drastic changes. And unfortunately, Mr. Aubameyang has turned into Mr. Aubameyang. He's turned into a bum recently, so hopefully he can start scoring goals soon. So, yeah.
Shout out Thameslink Wi-Fi back again.
Yeah, more investment than Arsenal.
So James, you were a neutral. I take it you watched the game. Was it worth a watch?
No, to be honest, not really in the sense that Wolves played a good game. I thought they were quite exciting to watch, but maybe just because the boys supporting Arsenal, I take an interest in how Arsenal do, and I'm just got the stats up in front of me. Yes, they had more possession, but 13 shots, but they only had 2 shots on target, and one of those is the goal that they scored. And that again was from a set piece routine, if I believe as well. So I'm not sure if that would be classed as open play or not. I don't think it is.
It did go down as open play, but
okay. But I think we'll all acknowledge as fans that
it weren't. Yeah,
wouldn't really.
Set piece routine.
So once again, Arsenal haven't scored a goal from open play, and it's just getting a bit ridiculous now. That I honestly think if I was Arteta at this point, maybe just sack off trying to be so defensive and just go offensive. Try and outscore a team, maybe concede 3, but try and score 4. Get some confidence back into the attack. Get some confidence to a player like Aubameyang again. Get him on the score sheet. But at the same time, as a United fan, I'm finally happy that people are going in on Arteta and the media is going in on Arteta, because as soon as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a mistake or loses one game, the media crucify him. And
they're both orange peelers anyway, man. Come on, they're both not good enough for where they're at.
Nah, but it's different. Go on, James. Go on.
Just, I'm enjoying the fact a little bit that some of the attention is now going on Arteta, because they both were similar managers, sort of underqualified, so to speak. And I just felt one was getting ridiculed a bit more than the other. But at the same time, I still just think with Arsenal, can we question players, for instance, like Lacazette and Pepe and people like that have been brought in for a lot of money? Are they really producing the goods to the point that can we start to say that they're actually flopping at Arsenal?
Well, Lacazette definitely 100%. He has flopped and he's fallen off a cliff edge in terms of the quality that he possessed when he came in, even his first and second season. But Pepe, it's not fair to call him a flop, and the reason why is because he hasn't been played for more than 5 games in a row. You can't judge a player properly until you've had 10, 15 games in a row. But what I do know about Pepe is his output is the second best, just behind Aubameyang. With Pepe and with that red card he got against Leeds, I think that will show you, we'll get to see what the player is made of and whether he is a flop after that. Because if he comes back now and he gets the time that he wants to try and play 10, 15 games in a row, and if he's not producing, then yes, he is a flop, 100%. But there's plenty of flops at Arsenal. But they pick up a nice wage every single week. And you know, that's half the reason why we're in an average position right now, because we have average players with average mentalities.
I think Alexander Lacazette is a flop. I think he hasn't really ever fulfilled his potential. Pepe, I get Bradley saying the jury's still out, but for me, I've seen nothing from him to suggest he's worth £70 million. And yeah, I can't wait for Sunday for the next episode of Only Fools and Arsenal. Can't wait for it.
I'll tell you one thing you are good at, mate, is making puns. You might not be good at anything else, but you can make a good pun.
Next game in the spotlight, it was Southampton against Man United. James, you've got to be thrilled with that. 2-0 down, and then suddenly 3-2 up.
What a comeback. That's all I've got to say. I mean, Southampton aren't a joke. Let's all be honest. They're not, they're no Manchester City, they're no Liverpool, but they're still towards the top of the table. And ever since that 9-0 defeat last year, they've been a solid team and a hard team to break down. I do think them not having Danny Ings is a big loss for them at the moment. And we got lucky, that he's injured for the game when we played them. But still, we went 2-0 down. I'll admit I wasn't watching the game for the first half just because I was at a friend's at that moment in time. So I'm reading the game as it went along, and it seemed like we were in the game and we were creating chances. But, we just conceded from their best opportunities. And then Cavani was, I think, I'll be the first to admit, when we signed him, it seemed like a panic buy because we just didn't get our transfer targets. But I think what it showed on the weekend is there's still a player in him. There's still that tenacity for him to want to win. He's proven a little bit why he's one of the best strikers that's been in Europe for the past few years. And I think him coming on just gave us that focal point, the movement around the box. The centre-backs were struggling with it. And ultimately, with him doing that, maybe it gave someone like Bruno a bit more space to be that creative outlet. And it got everyone going to the point that the whole team improved in that second half. I mean, I was watching it on the train journey home and I literally celebrated, shouting like "fuck off" and whatnot to my phone on the train. Luckily enough, I was the only one in the carriage. Otherwise, I may have been told to leave or something like that at the next stop. But huge win, and it's vital for us to get 3 points. And if we win our game in hand, I think we're only 2 points off top of the table. Who would have thought that, really? But we still got a lot of games to go, a lot of big games to go. So I'm not getting carried away.
Yeah, this was the only game that stopped it being a perfect weekend, I think. If Man U had lost this. At half-time, if I'm honest, I thought Man U were done. Southampton looked very dangerous. James Ward-Prowse's free kick, I've got to give that a mention because I thought that was fantastic. What a free kick that was. De Gea very nearly kept it out. It would have been a fantastic save if he did, but Ward-Prowse at the minute, his free kicks, he's taken like penalties. At 2-0, I thought United were done. But the second half, I agree with James. Bruno, for me, was a catalyst to turn it around. And Cavani just had that little bit of quality up top to take the chances. I thought his winning goal was a great header. But yeah, United ultimately deserved the win. Anytime a team comes back from 2-0 down, it's a good achievement. But I still think there's big problems at that club.
Very, very quick question, yeah? Do you go to bed in Man United pyjamas like how you go to bed in Arsenal pyjamas as well?
No, I just hate the both of them. I just love the comedy,
love us both.
mate.
We own you.
Fan.
You love us both. You love
Only
us
Fools and
both.
Arsenal, mate. I love Only Fools and Horses.
You get more excited over Arsenal United results than Leeds results. Honestly,
no, I don't.
Some super fan you are. Yeah. Secret Santa,
rubbish.
Christmas is coming up. Secret Santa, I'll buy you a nice Arsenal gift.
I mean, if it goes lockdown, I do need some extra toilet paper. To be fair, mate. So if it runs out again, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I watched the game. I actually think that United were lucky not to have got a couple of goals in the first half because Greenwood had a great chance, which he should have buried. And then, is it McCarthy, their goalkeeper? He made a massive error and kicked the ball out into midfield. And it was Bruno who took a shot. No, was it Bruno who took a shot? Was it Rashford? No, it might have been Rashford who took the first shot.
It was Greenwood. I think it was the Greenwood chance that you're on about. And then Bruno had the rebound.
That's it. Bruno had the rebound and he should have scored, to be honest. So realistically, he should have been 2-2 at half-time. I'll have to admit, James Ward-Prowse I haven't seen anyone who can take a free kick as consistently like that since like Ronaldo and Beckham days. I'm not saying he's as good as them, but consistently hitting them in and, hitting the point, putting it on the money every single time. He's looking fantastic. Fuck it, I'll take him in the Arsenal squad right now. And in the second half, Cavani, I don't think it was really Bruno. I think it was Cavani who changed everything. It looked like a panic signing on deadline day, which it still was. You can't dress it up and say it was anything else. But his movement is ridiculous. His anticipation of where the ball's going to go for both of those goals, he was the reason why they got back into that game. So, yeah, it was a fantastic result for United. But, it's consistency now, like James said. Can they go on a run of 5 or 6 games? Because if they can, they'll be there or thereabouts, not just in terms of Champions League, but, in terms of, challenging for the title. Because they have a title challenging team, in my opinion. Very, very good players, but an average manager. So let's see what he's made of now.
Too inconsistent. That's why I said I still think they've got big problems, because they'll have results like this, but then they'll go and lose to just teams don't expect them to lose to. Like the Champions League's a perfect example. They beat Leipzig and PSG and then lost to some Turkish fucking dairy farmers. So, it's just... But they're just too inconsistent for me. I think they have got the basis of a good team there, but for me, it's just they're too inconsistent and I can't see them going where they want to go with Ollie in charge.
I noticed as well, they subbed their goalkeepers at half-time. Dean Henderson got a shout. Performed pretty well as well. I mean, a clean sheet for his half. Why did he do that? For an injury or something?
De Gea slammed into the... That's how good the free kick was by James Ward-Prowse. He made De Gea injure himself. When he tried to dive towards the right, he hit his right knee off the post. Didn't look nice.
Shay, you got any thoughts on the game?
I weren't surprised they won because they have a great record at St. Mary's. I wasn't surprised that Southampton made it difficult because they're very resilient. And I'm not surprised that Cavani came on and basically scored the winning goal or goals, basically. No surprises there. What I will say, though, is that Man United are in the hunt for the top 4. They'll be there or thereabouts. But in terms of the title, I think it might be a little bit beyond them. But they have a good basis there to move from. But I think the manager they've got is not good enough to take them where they want to be. He'll get them to a point, but they need someone else to come in and get them to where they want to be. But very good with Man United. Very happy for United. Good on them.
Well, let's move on then. Game number 3, Chelsea against Tottenham. It was a 0-0 draw. I don't know about you guys, but I predicted last week it'd be a 3-3 draw.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous, yeah.
Just honestly, this game, if any of our viewers need help sleeping, go back and watch this. Shit game. I was actually looking forward to it, and I was just like, I think I actually texted the group. It was so dead. But at the same time, for me, it's a typical Jose Mourinho away performance in a big game. And for me, that underlines Spurs' title credentials, because that is a game old Spurs would have lost. Mourinho knows, I think, if you win your big home games and draw your big away games, it will leave you in a good place for a title challenge. And that's exactly what that was. Mourinho went there, locked it down, wanted a 0-0, got his 0-0, and they're top of the table. So it was a means to end, but a shit game to watch. I can't really say anything about it.
I thought Chelsea were unlucky. And again, it just goes back to Tammy Abraham. For me, I've said it maybe to you guys before, and I'll say it on the podcast. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he'll ever be good enough. There was 2 opportunities where Reece James put the ball on the money. And I just think if Olivier Giroud was playing up front, he would have buried one of those chances. And I think Olivier Giroud is a far better player to link up with Werner as well. I don't know why Lampard isn't using Giroud. That's what he did at Arsenal with Sanchez and Ozil. He links play. Yeah, I thought Chelsea could have won that game, but typical Jose Mourinho. He just went there and stunk out, Stamford Bridge, got his point and got the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what Kieran said is true. This is kind of showing some title credentials, those kind of games away from home, tough games. You either want to draw them or you want to pick up 3 points, and he drew them. And he'll probably win that game at home in the return. Good result for Tottenham, to be honest, but a shit game.
Dead.
Can't really say I have anything to add, really. It's exactly what both of the boys said. Typical Mourinho away from home when he's actually got a potential title winning team. And as much as he might say that they're not happy with the point in the media or anything like that, he is. That's exactly what he went there to do. Obviously, he'd like to get the win, but he's happy just to get out of there with the draw, keep the points ticking over, and they're still top of the league. And that's all he needs at the end of the day. And he'll keep talking it down, like saying after the match where he was saying like they're a pony in a horse race or something like that. We all know that Tottenham are title contenders this year. After 10 games, they've shown enough. So yeah, boring game, but I suppose it's what we should have expected. and not the 3-3 draw that maybe you were thinking there, JD.
So Shay's back from his long commute. Thank you for showing us that, and thanks for the dedication.
Pleasure. So, in terms of this game, I'm not really surprised, to be honest. You had London's second and third biggest clubs playing each other, and they cancelled each other out. I'm not surprised.
Okay, mid-table. All right, settle down.
It's my turn to speak now. Hold on.
Settle down.
Yeah, so, two very, very good sides. But I think for both sides, it seemed like the mentality was not to lose rather than win. And that don't surprise me, unfortunately, because when you get two teams who have the potential to be title winners, but have shown glimpses, maybe there was a bit of hesitation to go for it. So I'm not surprised it drew. I don't think either of them will actually win the title, in my opinion, but both of them will be up there. In terms of Tammy Abraham, it seems like Timo Werner plays better with Abraham. So I think maybe Abraham's there to complement Timo Werner. I think Werner had that chance that got ruled off for offside, the goal that got ruled off for offside. So who knows? But I'm not surprised they both drew. And onwards and upwards they go. Fair play to them both.
Moving on, fourth game in the spotlight. It was Leeds against Everton. It was a 1-0 win, something none of us expected.
Well, apart from me, because I said win. I said we'd win by a goal. I didn't think it. I said it. I think I said 2-1 last week. This is the game, I think, which shows again when it comes to Leeds, I'm the only one around here who talks any fucking sense. Because some of the nonsense I had to hear last week. Let me just tell you, that Shay especially, I hope you're listening, because this is a quote from you last week. Leeds are overhyped. James Rodriguez will run rings around Calvin Phillips. Robin Koch is a bum, and Everton will win 4-1. How did that work out for you? Absolute rubbish. Calvin Phillips got man of the match. Robin Koch kept a clean sheet, and Leeds won the game. So just absolute nonsense last week. I knew it would be a tight game. I thought we could win it. We did win it. But I was the only one who said we would. I think Ancelotti is a great manager, but at the same time, I think Everton have been slightly hyped over the start of the season. I think they've lost 4 of their last 5 now. So I knew we could get at them. I knew with Calvin Phillips back, James Rodriguez would not run riot. He got man of the match. He was excellent in terms of starting play. But yeah, I think Bielsa made everyone on this podcast look like a fool on Saturday. He really did. Quite end-to-end, even game, in my opinion. Everton had their chances. We did too. I think they're saying on Sky Sports, it's one of the games with the most amount of chances in Premier League, most amount of shots, in Premier League history. So how it only finished 1-0, I don't know. But I'm happy we got the win. And Rafinha, absolutely quality. He looks a real signing. 17 million. So a lot less than fucking lack of threat and Pepe. So that's how you do business, boys.
Well, it's good to see them addressing one of Leeds' bigger issues as well, which was the amount of goals being conceded. So clean sheets from Leeds is always good now.
Also, can we just get Shay's thoughts on his comments last week? I want to hear him say he was wrong. Bielsa's a great manager. And Calvin Phillips is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League at the minute. I want to hear him just a minute.
John Cena's on the podcast.
Right.
Disappeared. Silence.
No one cares about Leeds, man. Yes, you won the game. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, I'm very happy for you guys because it means that another 3 points towards safety, and it means that you guys will be Sheffield United in 12 months' time. 12 months' time, you'll be Sheffield United. So yeah, I'm not worried whatsoever. But very, very good result. Very good performance from the Argentine exile. And yeah, so I'm very happy.
You couldn't even predict what happened at the weekend, let alone in 12 months' time. Sit down, man.
You were the same guy who said Leeds would beat Arsenal.
All right, we're above you. You're in our rearview mirror now. We're
1 point after 10 games. Wow, brilliant. Wow.
I don't pay any attention.
Brilliant. 1 point after 10 games. What an achievement. But no, in all honesty, good result for these minnows. They're playing very good football. They're looking okay currently. And yeah, I'm very happy for them. And unfortunately for Everton, they just didn't do enough. But I will say that the best Brazilian signing recently has been Gabriel and not your B-Tech Ronaldinho. So yeah, well done to Leeds.
It was a really good game of football, to be honest. Back and forth. Everton had 2 goals disallowed in the first half, marginal offsides. Bamford again had a couple of chances, just Bamford. Same shit, different week here for Bamford, man. Couldn't hit a barn door. That is the definition of Patrick Bamford.
Still outscored Aubameyang though.
He's Timo Pukki. He's Timo Pukki. That's all he is. At the end of this year, I can pretty much guarantee I still think Aubameyang will have more goals than Patrick Bamford by the end of this year. And it's true as well, so just relax
You better
yourself.
hope so.
I better hope so now after that comment, but I'm still confident. That's how confident I am of our player beating your bum. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was a good goal by Rafinha. At the end, Leeds picked up the win. And like Shay said, 3 points towards survival. Well done.
James,
Arsenal need to get 3 points to survival, didn't they? They need to pick up those points quick.
Well, James, you got any final thoughts on that?
I'd probably say it was the most exciting game of the whole weekend, possibly. Even United's 3-2, you had City's 5-0, but with it, it was a 1-0 game. But watching the amount of chances that should have gone in, like Colt can go on about how our predictions were all completely wrong, and he's completely right. We did get it wrong, but the amount of goals that should have been scored in that game by both teams was actually ridiculous. But at the same time, the one thing that I've noticed, and I spoke to Kieran about yesterday, was in the past 2 games, they've kept 2 clean sheets. And that's since, what's his name? Calvin Phillips, has come back into the team. Prior to that, they conceded 8 goals in 2 games. I don't want to say that one player makes that much of a difference. But clearly to Leeds, I'm not going to say he's the difference between, a 4-goal difference in him, but he definitely improves that team massively. And they better hope, I think, that they keep him fit for the rest of the season, because if he isn't there, then I think it's clear to see from those games that they lost 4-1, they're going to struggle without him. But the more I watch of him, the more I think he's a good player. And I'll hold my hands up and say, Kieran banged on about him all last year in the Championship. And I said, look, until he comes to the Prem and proves it, I can only take your word for it. But he's proven it. And I want to see him more in the England side, really, now. I don't see why we have players like, I don't know, personally, Winks. I don't really see his benefit to the England team. I know I'm digressing, but I'd like to just see a bit more Calvin Phillips in there and maybe give Henderson a bit more of a free role to sort of go up and down the pitch, be a bit more box to box. But huge win for Leeds. Everton on a bit of a downward spiral at the moment, but I think they'll get themselves together and probably be fighting for those Europa League spots come the end of the season. That's my thoughts on it. And Leeds, look comfortable, I think, in the league right now. I don't see them, a bit like Kieran predicting a 12th place finish. I think that's there or thereabouts where they'll be at the end of the season, around that mid-table sort of spot.
Well, that's it for the spotlights then, guys.
John, how did Luton get on over the weekend?
Let's talk about that.
Let's just dive into the Championship's favourite team. Luton Town lost 4-0 against Cardiff City. You know what? It was a shambles.
Big Ness up front got a couple, didn't she?
it was a joke. We've been doing so well. And we're going against Norwich, top of the table, in about half an hour. So I'm looking forward to that one. We'll move on then, guys. I mean,
very quickly as well. This Saturday, 5:30, Leeds at the Bridge. Gonna get smashed.
They're going to get smashed.
They're
They're
lose
smashed at Everton. Why did
they lose at the Bridge, man?
Well, you just keep praying every weekend for it.
I want to see you bums lose, man.
All right, John, call it back.
Oh wait,
you make me dislike Leeds. I never disliked Leeds before, but you make me dislike Leeds, which I feel bad for other Leeds fans.
JD, what do you need to say, mate?
No, just quickly, player of the week. 10 seconds, go.
Calvin Phillips.
Cavani's
my one.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Cavani.
Edison Cavani.
There we go. Sorry, Calvin. All right, let's move on to the previews for next week's games. First of all is Leeds against Chelsea. Shay, I know you're dying to talk about it, so let's go.
So normally, the script says that Chelsea should really roll over these bums. But unfortunately, they've been managed by Frank Lampard, so he isn't a great manager. But I do believe Chelsea have enough to roll over Leeds United. Leeds have a very good team. They're playing very good football. So they're arguably playing the most exciting football in the Premier League right now, Leeds are, unfortunately. It pains me to say that, but they're playing very exciting football. So Chelsea should beat these lot. It should be comfortable. But with Calvin Phillips, the most informed player in the Premier League playing right now, I will take him at Arsenal. It hurts me to say that as well. I'll take him at Arsenal. It will be a very resilient and tough 3-1 win to Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, why would Calvin Phillips go to a team below us in the league? That doesn't make any sense. But in terms of this game, Chelsea at the Bridge is a very tough game for anyone. But you've also got to look, Leeds have played 3 of the top 6 already this season. We've only lost one of them to Liverpool, 4-3, and we should have got a point from that as well. So we've done well against the bigger teams. You've got to remember this game's got an extra spice to it as well. Obviously, Lampard was in charge of Derby with the whole Spygate stuff going on. So I'm disappointed Leeds fans can't be in that game. So I think it would add a bit of spice to it. But yeah, when Lampard was in charge of Derby, Bielsa, I think, had his number for large parts of that. We played him 4 times. We beat him 3. Obviously, the game against Ellen Road, the playoff, for about 15 minutes, they were better than us. And the rest of the game, we still battered them. It was just a weird game to lose. But I think Bielsa will outwit Lampard again. I think he'll have something for him. Obviously, there is a talent difference. Chelsea have got some very talented players. I think we'll get a draw from this. I think we'll go there and we'll get a 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, wait, is it at the bridge, did you say?
Yeah, it's at the bridge.
Yeah, it's at the bridge. Okay. I mean, I'm just not convinced by Chelsea really at the moment. I know that a lot of where they are in the table and they seem to be doing quite well, but I still have watched a few of their games and I just haven't really been blown away by it. In terms of the pressure Leeds can put on a team and the amount of chances that they create, I definitely think they can get, some goals in this game. But they are a bit too reliant, I think, on Bamford at the moment. Me and Kieran spoke about that the other day, which is why I think it was good for Rafinha to get a goal against Everton. Because if Bamford isn't scoring, and he's been a little off the mark in the past few games, where else are those goals coming from? So I'm probably going to go for a 2-2 draw as well. I think there's goals in it, but I think Chelsea will do enough at the same time. They've got the experience in there, and Thiago Silva at the back. I think Mendy's been a good goalkeeper, solid buy for them there, and they can create enough going forward that I think they'll score as well. And Leeds have shown defensively they can be caught out, and they've got a few liabilities there.
Just like to make it interesting, mate.
I actually think this will be quite a tight game. I actually agree with James to a certain extent. I haven't been amazed by Chelsea up until that Spurs game. Other than Liverpool, they haven't really played anyone who's going to put them under massive amounts of pressure. Teams that have, I think about Southampton where they threw that lead away. I think about West Brom where they were 3-0 down. And if they don't start right in this game, Leeds could beat them. I'll be honest, I'll go out there and put it on the record now. But I could see Leeds getting a 1 or a 2-0 here. I really do, because nothing that Chelsea have done have massively impressed me, and I just think you don't want to start badly against Leeds. That defence that has looked good, if it's getting constant pressure by Leeds, then it's bound to give. So I'm gonna put my neck out the line for Leeds, and I'm gonna say that they're gonna win 1-0.
Leeds.
Watch you be disappointed now that you put some faith in Leeds.
I don't care though. I'm not.
Of
Do you know
course,
what I
yeah.
mean? I'm actually saying that from a footballing perspective.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Chelsea under Frank Lampard are great, and with that squad and with the players that he's got, they should be better. I mean, I looked at Ziyech on what's it called when they played Tottenham. He didn't really do much in that game. I still don't think he's playing in his best position. I still don't think he's got the players in the right positions, and I still don't think he's got the best out of them so far. So we'll see. But I just think Leeds are gonna get nick it.
Yeah, you've all said pretty much the same thing as what I was thinking. Just looking at Chelsea's previous matches, yeah, they're doing all right and they're high up in the table, but their wins came from Crystal Palace, Burnley, and Sheffield United that I can see right here. Oh, and Newcastle. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. Leeds aren't up there with the top of them. You know what? Actually, I reckon Chelsea will nick it. I'll say maybe 2-1 to Chelsea, only because Leeds just aren't there yet. On to the next one. It is obviously Arsenal against Spurs. For those who haven't seen, we have got a spin-off show for that game, so feel free to tune in there. It's available on YouTube, but we'll briefly talk about it now. Who wants to start?
Not looking forward to this game. I'd actually rather sit for a whole church service on Sunday than watch this game, to be honest, because it's going to be painful. It's the first time, I think I said it earlier on in the week, it's the first time I've ever gone into a North London derby worrying about a spanking, which I shouldn't, because in a North London derby, form goes out the window. But this is Mourinho, this is a Mourinho game. The way that he's got those Spurs players playing with the mentality that he's installed in them, I can't see anything but a Spurs win here, which, it'll probably be just my luck that we will probably go and nick it, to be honest, saying this now. But honestly, I can't see anything but a 3-0 Spurs win.
Damn.
in my opinion. I don't see how we're scoring. You know, they've looked good defensively. We've looked shit offensively. How the hell are we going to get the goal in the back of the net unless Aubameyang is back? So he's got a hell of a he's got the weight on his shoulders on Sunday, Aubameyang, because I don't know where else those goals are going to come from. So yeah, 3-0 Spurs.
In the Luton game tonight, we're welcoming back fans for the first time since March. Is that the same with Arsenal and Tottenham? First game back.
Yeah.
Like
It's
a
at
derby.
Spurs, so they'll have their fans. Yeah.
Do you think that'll make a difference?
2,000 fans. I barely see in a 60,000 plus stadium how it's going to make much of a difference. To be honest, I highly doubt it's going to matter. To be honest.
Like John said, we have done a North London derby special on this show this week with myself, Bradley, and my Spurs mate Nathan. My thoughts on that are in the show. Just quickly, I think Spurs will nick it. It'll be a lot tighter than I think a lot of people predicted, and I said 1-0 Spurs.
Weirdly enough, I think Arsenal are going to nick it. It's just one of those ones, a bit like Bradley says, the form goes out the window, and I know nothing should suggest that Arsenal should win this game this weekend. But I think that's kind of how I felt when they went to play United up at Old Trafford. They hadn't won a game against the Big Six for God knows how long. They, I don't know, had terrible form of late. And I still think that game personally was two poor teams on the night. But Arsenal were definitely dominated United in that game and were the better of the two. And I just have a funny feeling that they're just going to turn up and switch it on against Spurs. Mostly because I think they bloody need to more than anything. They need to do it for the manager, and they need to do it obviously for themselves and the fans. Because if they put up another performance like they have been, the fans are going to go ballistic, and more than I think they already are. I mean, Shea and Bradley already seem like pretty downtrodden about everything, and I just think there's a difference between being downtrodden, I suppose, and just feeling really mute about it. But then a loss against your biggest rivals, the voices come out. And I think no player would want that, and they need to turn up. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 Arsenal win. Weirdly enough, I think they'll keep a clean sheet, but I don't see them scoring more than one goal. That's the thing.
Well, this is one of the big Premier League fixtures on the calendar. A massive derby, one of the biggest games in the country. I hate to say it, but they are way better than us currently. And this is a huge month for Mikel Arteta, a massive month. Because the big two games of this month, this one and the Chelsea game. Now, how we perform in these two games will help to shape his Arsenal future. If we go and put in a shift and we get a result against Tottenham, brilliant. If we lose to Tottenham badly and then we get spanked by Chelsea on Boxing Day, I think that could be not the end, but I think he will lose a lot more fans. So I'm hopeful that we can go and get a draw or try and nick it. But unfortunately, I believe it will be a mauling. It will be a daft mauling, unfortunately. So I am going to say Tottenham 4, Arsenal 1.
Yes! I'd love a bit of that. For those who don't know, if that happens, it will be a 3-man podcast next week. Bradley and Shay will go into hibernation. So just as a heads up.
I'll just round it off with pretty much what Kieran and Bradley said. I think 1-0, maybe 2-0 to Tottenham. I'll say 2-0. Lastly, the other match we wanted to predict, it was Manchester United versus West Ham United. James, you've got to go first here, I think.
I just think the game against West Ham right now is just not a game any team can underestimate. West Ham seem to be on a nice bit of a run at the moment, and they're just looking solid, which I wouldn't have given a second thought to last season with the way West Ham were playing then. And David Moyes, I felt watching any of their games, was making them play really drab and boring football. But they're getting the wins at the moment, getting the results, and I think they're up and around like 5th or 6th at the moment in the league. So I think I think it will be a tough game. I don't see it being easy, but surely I'm looking at our team and I keep thinking we've got enough quality there that we should be pushing West Ham aside. So I think it could be a lot based on the result against PSG tonight and the performance that we put in. If we put in a real shift, and the players cover a lot of distance and, maybe a few injuries might be picked up or something like that, then I'm a little more worried for the weekend. But I'm going to predict a 3-1 United win.
Yeah, I think James is right. I think if United beat PSG tonight, they'll probably lose to West Ham at the weekend because that's Man U at the minute. For me, West Ham have been the surprise package of the season. I thought before the season, myself and a lot of others had them as tips for relegation. Club was in disarray. They got fucking David Moyes in charge. Who, I mean, I don't know how he's still got a job in football, but he seems to turn it around, and they've looked pretty good. Got some big results. I do think United will likely have too much for them, but this is the Premier League. You never really know. I'm going to say United nick it 1-0 with a Bruno penalty. I'm going out on a limb.
Wow.
Yeah, I think banana skin, to be honest. That's what West Ham are, because they are no mugs. And if you show up to that game thinking they're going to roll over and you're going to beat them, which often United do, then you're going to get punished. But I concur with what Kieran says as well. I do think in the end they'll have too much quality for West Ham. Although it wouldn't surprise me if they went up there and nicked a win. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 United. I think there will be a penalty in there. But yeah, 2-1 United.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go ahead and say West Ham to get their 4th win in a row. I think maybe 2-1 West Ham. Yeah, I think they'll carry on staying near the top of the table, at least for the first half of the season, until injuries come back to bite them, as they are with everyone at the moment. But for now, they'll be doing all right. And that's it for today. Yeah, we'll cut this one short because the Luton game has just started. Thanks for listening, guys. Tune in to next week's episode. We'll be doing another special as well, but we'll let everyone know exactly what that's going to be later on. This is John, Luton Town. Take it easy.
Okay, Leeds.
Goodbye from James, and also I want to just say rest in peace, Maradona. Great, one of the greats, passed away sadly.
Definitely. Goodbye from Bradley, and yeah, I concur that as well. RIP to Diego Maradona, an absolute legend in the game, gone.
And bye-bye from the one known, you can't clone me, alive, breathing, kicking in the flesh. I want to say condolences to the family of Maradona. He was a fantastic footballer, and the game would not be where it is without him today. So let his soul rest in peace. He may not be liked by everyone, but rest in peace.
Leipzig got a goal right at the end.
Oh, sorry,
James, we'll see you in the Europa League, yeah?
Later, boys.